begin with a, y'all must be some Stormborn, as lightning had struck the center rock that the Minotaurs used to tithe, to sacrifice to the gods.
Wow.
Thank you. The good news is you won the debate. The bad news is you still got the labyrinth to get through. I would love to introduce y'all to the Minidonna.
As she's carried, she's just sort of doing this, swaying back and forth, and seems to be humming to herself. When they stop and set her down, she stays seated on her throne, and she opens her eyes and she says, "Well, I do declare, if this ain't the Stormborn in front of me. Hello, I am the Minidonna, 84th of my name. The first Minidonna was responsible for all of the magics that now lie in what you see before you."
We've spent much of our time ever since calling here trying to understand exactly what the gods want of us.
And I am so excited to have you here. And since you do not seem to know your purpose, I can only imagine that you have so many questions.
So many questions.
Well, unfortunately, y'all only have so much time, according to the prophecies.
Okay, question, how long did the prophecy say that we would complete it?
Oh, well, if you look from here to, and she points all the way down to the other end of the labyrinth, way in the distance, she says, you have exactly 24 hours.
I don't think I want to know the answer to this question, but here I go asking it anyway. What happens after 24 hours?
Well, what we have observed from others, Stormborn, who have arrived, they go mad and disappear.
Okie dokie.
We should be on our way. So Sane starts to run her hands, her fingertips along the stone, and she will put both hands on the stone in front of her, rest her cheek on the stone, and then walk in.
But when you step in, you feel as if you are being submerged in a warm bath, almost.
Saint! Saint, you all right?
Saint.
She's laughing,
What
but I don't know
happened?
if she's having a good
Are
time.
you all right? That looked painful.
Sometimes the labyrinth has a strange effect on those.
Oh no, is she losing it?
The labyrinth does as the labyrinth does. And the two Minotaurs stomp on the ground,
Right.
and they both bring their fists forward, and when they punch into the wall where she was just inside of,
Punch it.
it opens up with a whoa whoa, and the stone folds open.
All right, so let's take a moment.
Sane starts walking to the right.
Hang on. Saint!
And you see one of the Minotaurs just shaking his head, and he looks over at the other Minotaur. Best of luck, I guess.
Yeah, that don't look good.
Thank you.
Not off to a good start.
Definitely not.
And then, goom, goom, hammer, and then the wall.
Literally in the reverse order, just like it.
And a couple of hours goes by as you're winding back and forth in this labyrinth, and it eventually opens up into a large hall. It is rectangular shaped, but it is a large hall, not square. Inside of this room, there are shelves containing thousands of little stone figurines. There is also a large statue of the Minidonna in the middle of the hall.
Oh, there she is.
And she's gesturing towards one of the walls. You also all hear a and this massive figure flies overhead, circles around for a moment, and then flies off. So you take one step back, and when you take a step back, you slip on a bone and you fall backwards. All of you hear ka-chum! And the wall starts to come up between the three of you and the room in front of you.
Get in
You
here!
have to decide now if you're going to come in or stay out.
Yeah, going in.
Jumping in.
Okay, so you all jump into the room. On the opposite wall is a riddle. When drawn, I become mountains. When curved, I become old. When taut, I straighten up. When segmented, I stay whole.
Strike this chord, and I shatter. Hold me gently, and I bear knowledge. When heroes need me, I am their bravery. Grasp me harshly, and I will stab back. Timer starts now.
Right,
Grasp me
idea.
harshly, I shall stab back reminds me of a needle.
Or a sword.
Well, old. When you get old, you curve.
A tree.
Just saying.
Yeah.
I was going to say something like a rose.
When heroes need me, I am their bravery.
Act.
Because I don't think it's literal mountains.
No.
Right.
Is the idea that we're just supposed to say this out loud? Are we supposed to draw this somewhere? Are we when we find the answer?
So it looks something maybe we put in her hands.
Can
To
we see-
remind you, there's thousands of earthen figures.
Quill.
5,
Sheet of music.
Kari?
4,
Me?
Yeah.
2,
Anything?
1.
Worm.
That is it. That is our timer.
For those of you playing at home, it was spine.
Spine.
The Minodonna statue clicks all the way around and points towards the Armageddon, and you see her eyes light up, and her hand that's out like this
Get against the walls.
then points at the Armageddon, and there's this wave of energy. Thank you.
Yep.
Oh God.
Wave of energy that ripples out across the whole room. All the little figurines fall off the shelf. The bones begin to bounce and rattle and shake. And here are the effects of the Sphinx's curse.
Oh, great.
God.
Is that
Saint.
what's happening to us?
Yes. You grow old.
Oh.
Your back becomes hunched.
Oh.
Your teeth fall out of your mouth.
Oh.
As well as the tusks in your face fall out. And you have -5 to your strength.
Otto,
Yes.
your eyes droop from your skull and turn a milky white.
Oh. All right, just
Cristobal.
stay close.
Oh no, this is
You
real.
lose all of your facial hair. You shrink to that of a 10-year-old prepubescent boy.
In age or just height?
You get a -5 to your
In
charisma
age and height.
as you're going through the beginning stages of puberty.
He's just a baby.
You're just a baby.
Val,
Yeah.
your scales begin to molt. As if you have dragon scale eczema.
Oh.
You
No.
also
Oh,
shrink
boy.
to a 12-year-old, losing your muscular mass.
Okay.
-5 to your constitution.
Oh, that.
That includes your hit points.
KoKo.
That
Stays the
is
same.
not.
Actually,
Perfect.
your looks don't change at all.
But what happens
But
to
your
my...
mind starts to slip.
Oh my God.
I
and
mean,
you
it
start-
wasn't that firm before.
Agreed.
And you start to see
wow.
visions. -5 to your wisdom. The first vision that you see in front of you is a bright light in the sky as something explodes and rocks rain down all around you, striking the side of Mavros Mountain, striking parts of the labyrinth. And when your vision coalesces again, it all fades. On top of this wave of magical energy that ripples out across the room, the walls, and this is the first time you've seen this happen, crack and crumble into bits, as opposed to morphing down out of the way. The good news is
good
that
news.
you see a small figure on the opposite side of this wall when it crumbles that you recognize.
Capri?
Yes.
We heard you were dead.
Lies.
Have you been in here this whole time?
No, I am searching for someone.
Who are you searching for?
Grimora. Last I saw her, she was headed into this labyrinth.
Don't listen. She's not real. This is an apparition. This is a part of this curse.
No.
No, we're moving on. We have to move on.
I assure you, I am very real.
And Saint starts to move away from what she fears.
You guys are making your way into this labyrinth, and you go deeper and deeper and deeper, and it again takes another couple of hours before you get to the center of the labyrinth. Otto and Cristobal, you make your way into the center of the labyrinth, and before you is a nest. Standing in the nest, plucking what appears to be, because you can clearly see this even with the 12, what appears to be a spine up out of the nest and holding it above his head is Nagra.
Oh my God.
Oh!
Another person appears beneath the nest that you recognize immediately as Grimora.
Oh my god.
It's time that we... Oh. I didn't think I'd see you so soon. Oh, goody! Finish the job, Nagrok.
You see Nagrok sort of flourish the spine and on his back, sort of like a sword sheath, and he, from his side, picks up what looks like a metal ball and begins to toss it in the air, and he goes,
Ha ha! I know! Seeing me again! Aren't you just stunned?
and he throws the metal ball at you. Jumps down with a nice little forward flip, landing on the ground, and seems to sort of wipe his hands, and he says,
Get him!
So the sphinxes are all going to converge. You now see the fierceness of these sphinxes as the sphinx dives down, sinks a claw into Cristobal's right shoulder, sinks a claw into Cristobal's left shoulder, and then buries its beak into Cristobal's back of his head, and blood just goes as he rocks forward. And this sphinx rips part of Cristobal's scalp off and swallows it and continues to fly away.
Val rushes up and stops for a second and then thinks for a moment, and suddenly poof, the echo is standing on top and the echo is thrusting down into the back of the sphinx.
pretty cool.
So this sphinx rocks back and forth, and it's trying to fly, and the
Goes
echo
ham on him.
starts stabbing the sphinx in the back of the head, realizing that's not having enough of an effect, stabs it in the back, square in the back, realize that's not having much of an effect, then stabs one of the wings, and the sphinx starts to spiral out of control sideways.
I am standing over top of you. Are you all right?
No.
From behind Nagrok, a tiny little rat polymorphs back into Capre, and what you see is her Otto and KoKo. You can see that she pulls what looks like a stone chiseled dagger from her side. Elkhorn, thank you. Elkhorn dagger from her side. You have not seen this before. And she, with her one arm, as she's coming out, draws it and puts it through his back, and it comes out of his chest. Ooh. And he looks down.
Oh!
And he looks confused, and he looks at all of you, and his body begins to... His face caves in, his neck cracks and crumbles, and he begins to sort of crunch into a small ball on the ground that turns into black ooze.
Oh, there goes.
Whoa, he's gone?
Begins to flow into the sand. And you see her...
I grab the spine.
As you pick it up, it literally transforms in your hand. As you pick it up, it goes from a spine to then becomes limp, and it looks like a chain with a really large ball at the end of it. Dark clouds begin to gather in the sky above you.
We gotta get out of here. I'm just going.
And out of the sand appears a 10-foot tall green Grimora. She looks at Capre, she looks at Cristobal, and she says, "Kill her." And she points down at Saint. She also says, "Bring me the spine."
She stops. She slowly puts the dagger away, her eyes devoid of what look like life. She looks at Saint, and she begins to forehand all four limbs. As she gets down on her, as she gets down onto her three limbs, a tentacle pops out of her shoulder.
What did I say?
Wiggles around, and another one pops out.
Oh!
They seem to form into some sort of spiral and turn and polymorph into a full arm. And she leaps at Saint.
Her tentacle wraps around your body and starts to siphon life out off of you, and both you and Capre start to float up into the sky.
What?
Oh no.
As she continues to drain the life
And
out
what you
of
can see is her arm transforms back into that tentacle, and she slams it into Saint,
Oh my
and it begins
God.
to bulge as it's clearly she is draining blood from Saint's body.
And that's where we're going to end our show tonight.
That's too.
As her eyes glaze over and lock in with Capre, you can see that her face loses all recognition of anything else around her except for Capre's eyes.
And you all hear Capre say, "You are right, my dear Saint, and now you will pay for it."